Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the FX Daily Roundup. You can see here we're really coming off, but let's go on and go to the alternate screen to see where NASDAQ is. And boy, have we seen a pretty good fall. I actually went and bought. I actually ended up buying at two different places. I did post a chart. You can see here. If you look here, we had this nice, like a medium-legged doji followed by a hammer. So I thought they'd be buying right in there. I picked up in there a little bit too early as we broke below that. But then we had the 541. I was like, oh my God, I should have gone and waited, which is my fault. I should have waited to see how it reacted to that level, because figuring, hey, if you're going to get some short covering, you'll still get momentum. After a big fall like this, you'll get a lot of strong momentum. So as we came down to 541, we dipped below it. We went back above it. We dipped below it again. And I picked it up as it came down here near the lows. And I was able to ride it back and then just go on and exit out of the ad. Took a little bit of a slight loss on the original, but when you add them both together, it came out ahead. So only thing is I didn't want to, I'm doing the daily roundup, so I didn't want to stick around on it. And if I was, riding it and having to hang on to it while I'm doing the daily roundup, only because, like I said, since we had such a big fall, what if they just take another leap? I mean, another big drop here. So I'm like, I don't want to be managing that. So I might have been able to let it ride a little bit longer, but I came out making money. But only thing is I'm frustrated is that I came a little bit too early. This was a good, awesome level. We'll open up this so you can see it a little bit clearer. And we'd already come down quite a bit. I mean, we cleaned out some people good, but good. And I mentioned that we also had some very good volume. I'll show you that as we came down in here, as we were dropping down. But you can see here, we finally broke out of that this trend line that we've had in place that's been holding the market. Also, I shared this in the European crossover webinar. You see here, these two key levels gave us that 161% right there, and the market went there and tagged it. I think it was to the tick. So the high today was 58.75, and 12.960 was the 161%. So essentially it hit it essentially. But anyway, but we saw a pretty good breakdown. So I would have thought that, of course, when we broke here, I'm thinking, okay, there's a little bit of support in here. Maybe they'll overshoot it. I'm looking for two areas in here. Didn't do anything. Didn't pick it up. I'm glad I didn't. And I'm saying, well, and the only good thing I did say is I go, I'll wait till we get past here and see what happens. And as we broke low, I'm thinking, wow, they got to find some good support in here, which you've got this medium-legged doji, which generally medium-legged doji come down here and market comes back, although it already moved higher, but market finishes in the middle. Bulls don't have control, bears don't have control. What generally way do you end up going higher? Generally would be this way, but we'd already come off of that. So they took one more dip, provided a hammer, and you can see a nice rally. So I'm thinking that's going to be a good area for them to come in and step in and cover. And I got long as it broke below that, but that I should have waited. I wasn't sure if it'd make it down to the 12.541. Well, it actually did, and then a little bit, then some. But as it got down here, I was thinking about adding. I said, no, I'll just wait. And unlike I did the last time, and then we broke lower, came back up again. I think it's about 52. Then we broke lower again, and then it was on that next one that I added. I think the low was like 28 or something like that. I had it right in the lower 30s, and then I was able to go and ride it out. And I would have liked to have hung on, but oh well, it is what it is. I didn't want to stay in that position because it wasn't even a good entry. So lots of times if I have a poor entry, or what I judge as a poor entry, then regardless of what the case is, I'm not going to hold it because I don't think it's not, good situation. That being said, you can see the volume that we're getting on the break here. I was saying that, wow, we had over 40,000 trading right here on this break. The 5 minutes, looking here, 11, essentially 11, 11, 11, 11, all the way down here. So essentially from here to here, over 40,000 contracts traded, close to 50,000 contracts. So that's what I was thinking. Okay, when I saw that, I'm thinking, okay, well, I think I'm okay to step in unless all heck breaks loose. So that's why I did the ad. And we came out okay, and I think we can maybe move a little bit higher. We'll see what happens. You can see here also where they broke same day and 2-day VWAP. I also shared that, and I also shared it on Twitter because we were way up here at this 161%. Even before the market opened, we weren't that far away. We were in the 40s. And I did point out that if you look on here, it doesn't show it here because we've already fallen so much, but we were quite a ways from the same day VWAP. So that was coming in at 12.902. And then sure enough, I was short from there, but we did break them and we got all the way to 902. We actually got, I think we popped a little bit and then we went all the way and dipped down to like, I think we went into the 880s before the move was over. I think we went down to the 870s before we came back. And you can see here, they came back, they challenged the VWAP, and then they rolled back lower. And then they were riding the 2-day VWAP, which is what they found support here, down here at 850. I was saying, hey, look, if we 12,850 was key. If we get a break and hold below that, it's going to be hell. And we did bounce off that. We saw a nice bounce, took us all the way back up to almost 900, or maybe at 900. And then because we broke lower, boy, did we really slam them lower here. So that's where we're at there. Let me go on. Oh, we'll go on and bring on Bitcoin real quick. Once again, the webinar is not very long. The daily roundup, but you can see here we were looking for lower prices, remember? So we did go in and break. Now we're actually holding up pretty well considering how everything else is reacting, but we had that big run up. We've been in this with the exponential moving averages in this sell mode. We rallied up. I did talk about resistance here at 32,000. I didn't see this. We posted this hanging man, and then you can see we broke lower. So from the 32,000, we're down a little over 1,000 right now. I still think we can still break lower. If we do eventually see a more pronounced move, then I think that we can come down here, right in this area, close to around we'll probably get a bounce from about the 26.5. But I think if we do make a turn, we could just go on and come down here to the 78%. But I think we can get a nice bounce from right there, which would be 26. Right there, 26,237, which would just take out the 61%. We already came to the 50%. So generally, if you take out one fib, you usually skip to the next one. So that would just be probably a temporary bounce. And anyone that's stuck with it is really going to be under some kind of pressure. Let's go on and come up here. We did say we'd cover the euro and the Aussie. Here's the Aussie. Aussie looks like hell right now. I did share this on the European crossover webinar. Aussie finished the week with a gravestone doji after a phenomenal rise over the last 8 weeks. So you can see here where we're at. And now it looked like it was going to be another gravestone doji, but we've actually broken lower here. We were finding some support right there at that level. You see that 76.45. I think that may have been today's bias chart support. I'm not sure. Let's go and move on to the euro quickly. Euro, we did make that move. Now on the bias chart, we had 22.84, which is our weekly resistance level, but we also had 23.49. I'll show that to you where we're coming up with that. See this 23.49, so I thought maybe if it was going to try and push up, but I'd still like that 22.84. Well, it's holding like a champ. So once again, with equities coming under pressure, maybe we'll start to see a little bit of short covering into the dollar. We can go and take a look at the SPOOs real quick. Oh, I know that Irina likes to look at the Russell. So here's the Russell. We talked about the Russell in the European crossover webinar. Let's go and move into the daily. And we talked about the significance right here. Right there, you can see that 1996. And we were actually there, if I remember correctly, when we were doing the analysis. And I said, this is a key level because that's a prior close here. And if it got beyond that, then it'd be all the way up in here, the 2006. But this one was key. And you can see here, we just rotated there. We're still moving lower at this point. Some support coming in right there, which would be 1917. So we came pretty close. We got to 1920. So pretty close to some support, a little bit overdone. In the meantime, we can go and take a look at the S&Ps. Hold on much better than the NASDAQ. But the NASDAQ had more room to give, considering how far it had run up. We'll take a look at quickly at the dollar CAD. There we go. Nice little rebound here in the dollar CAD here. This would be resistance. You see this coming across here right there. 28.18 would be resistance. 28.18. If we get up there, you probably see a little bit of fading there. Irina says, thanks for your comments on Russell, NQ, and S&P. Yeah, Irina, more than happy to go and do that. We'll go and move this one out of the way. Also, the VIX is really popping. Let's go on and get there. That'll kind of give us an idea if we're going to see some bigger moves too. Let's pull up the VIX. Wow, look at this VIX. Holy moly guacamole, look at that thing. Just rampant. If we get above this 29.55, man, this thing's really going to open up and suggest more further, action, in this case would be downside more than likely. But once again, taking a look at the NASDAQ, we'll go back to that. Look at Bitcoin. It's really hanging around pretty good here. Here it is on the 2-hour chart. Only thing is, like I said, we took this dip. I actually wanted to buy it in here, but I had stepped away at the time. And this moves are just phenomenal. The way these things are just jumping up. We've even talked about it. Saw a move. I think it was in the early European session where it dipped and it quickly jumped up. I think we were here. We talked about it. It quickly jumped up like almost $800 or at least $500. So it's like phenomenal, some of these moves. And it really is gaining some traction. The key thing is not only the popularity, everybody's jumping into it. Problem is that institutions are coming in. So it's going to provide some strong hands underneath the market. So if we do see the scary dip, and we talked about that today in the European crossover webinar, all this part, probably a lot of late buyers here. If we break here, I'm thinking initially I had a limit order earlier just below right here at this 24,568, which would be the 78%. If we can get that break lower, you might still see some shakeouts, but this is going to be a phenomenal area to step in and buy. And it looks like people are just going to hang on to this thing. There are talks, and I'm not jumping into the euphoria, but I had seen even before this weekend talks about this thing, forget quadrupling, but 5 times higher. And I can see why, because you can see all the debasement of all these other currencies. Also, people feel they don't want to have their money in any type of currencies. It allows them freedom of any purchase. But more importantly, institutions have stepped in. Paul Tudor Jones bought it I think it was 13,000. You can see where it is now. People like him, they are not going to let loose of their it jumps up and they get out. They may take a little bit of it, but they're going to ride this thing for a lot longer. So that's what I'm saying. You could see this thing move much higher. Probably need a good shakeout after this run. Then we may dip down here and might dance around a few times here, and then little by little start working up once again much higher. But that's what we have for the European crossover webinar, Daily Roundup, and we'll see you at the European crossover webinar tomorrow. Thank you. Some people said something on the chat. Amir says you can look at Ethereum. So, okay, we'll take a look at Ethereum. I actually can look at it. So hang on. There's Ethereum. And bear with me. Now, Ethereum did make new highs. And I haven't had a chance to do any analysis. I found out that I had a live feed for the cryptos. So that's why I started on my Ninja. So I've loaded this up, but we will take a look at it now. With Ethereum, it did break to new all-time highs. And then we quickly gave that back up. We'll do some more further analysis going forward. You can see right now it needs to hold right there. That's going to be key. 976. You see that? You see the touches coming across, and you can see this lines up perfectly. So let's throw this on there real quick. That's huge. 975. They may try and take some stops out a little bit, and then there'd be some additional support here right there, which would be 972 and up to 968. So really any dips down here, they take out the stops, and if you can hang, possibly would be a good area to step in. But once again, and you can see, look at this move here, and I thought they did go to new all-time highs. Yeah, they did. I'm looking at a very short-term chart, but you can see the angle on this trend line right here, and they broke them. But I would look for them to, once again, I'm looking at this on a very short-term 5-minute chart. So the key thing on this is going to be the 972. If you're looking further, it's going to be right there, 903. We'll see what happens, but we'll do further analysis as we go forward. But thanks for joining us here, and we'll catch you later.